The Great Wall. We'll move on to The Great Wall, a film that's been spoken about a lot because of how big it is in terms of money, in terms of how it's been accused of whitewashing, and also it's the transition from Chinese cinema to English cinema for Zhang Yimou.
Yeah.
Big famous director for things like House of Flying Daggers, now doing things like The Great Wall.
So yeah, just a bit of a tonal change.
Just a little bit.
But obviously, Matt Damon's cast in this film was totally his choice.
Yes,
So
apparently
all
he's
of
huge in
these,
China as well.
and I understand that some people from the outside might have thought, fair enough, it's a film about the Great Wall of China. It could be whitewashing. So you know what? To be fair, it's not that at all in the story. It's a story about a white man coming to China, but it's not about him. I think the concerns were maybe that he was going to bring sort of like the superior Western ideology or something like that.
I think far from it.
Yeah, and it doesn't do that at all.
No.
Like, it's not. If anything, it's about how great the culture is.
Yeah.
There, because this film is, it does have some things to say about the culture of China.
Yeah.
But that's not what it's about, because this film is actually about the Great Wall of China being, in fact, a massive way to keep out lots and lots of alien monsters out.
It's a big rewrite of history.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Well, I mean, they do say at the very beginning, this is a forgotten legend. It's not.
No.
It's really not.
It's all made up.
Yeah, so Matt Damon and Oberyn Martell, aka Pedro Pascal, they come to China. They are looking for black powder, aka gunpowder, and they want this gunpowder to take back to the West. However, they arrive at the wall and they find out that the Great Wall of China is in fact a way every 60 years to keep out these aliens who crash landed many centuries ago in China away and stop China and the world falling to these creatures. And yeah, I mean, you could sort of tell from the trailer straight away that this was just going to be probably a paint by numbers sort of action siege film in many ways. But I think, to be honest, I thought I enjoyed this more than I was expecting, to be honest. I thought this was going to be dire in a lot of sense of the words. I was hoping for better.
And some people think it is dire. We should specify.
Given the director is, a really, really profound and respected director.
Yeah.
I was expecting this was going to be at least something, and I'm glad I was entertained for what it was, because it does have a lot of decent stuff in there. I think there's lots of visual invention in there. I think the use of colour is fantastic, and the Great Wall, to defend against these monsters, has many different sort of battalions that all have specific colours. They've got the all-women group who are dressed in blue, and they sort of crane dive, I think that's what they say. It's down the wall to sort of spear the monsters. And you've got the foot soldiers dressed in black and stuff like that. So it's got a very distinct visual look to it, and some of the sort of visual invention that it has in terms of the battle scenes is again really entertaining to watch, and it stops it from being stale. However, you don't get behind the characters enough for me to really take this beyond just something a bit disposable, because while I did think the banter between Pedro Pascal and Matt Damon was really good, and I thought they worked well together, I think their character motivations were sort of really poorly defined, and I think that sort of they didn't really know if they wanted to make them sort of the anti-heroes or straight up the heroes, or whether they wanted to make Pedro Pascal the villain outright or something like that, and it was all a bit muddled, to be honest, and I think it could have been more than it was, but for what it was worth, I'd enjoy it.
I think it tries to play silly sometimes. I think that the sort of it plays on the banter between the two of them, but it kind of tips over into campiness a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, I think it tries to be too serious in a lot of parts, and then just ends up being campy and silly. Too silly. The one bit I did like about this film really is the colours and how good it looks, but it's sort of mismatched because some of the CGI was a bit rubbish.
Yeah,
so
I guess some of that was.
You've
wacky,
got all this really good practical stuff when all the colours pop. Like, it's obviously shot by somebody who knows what they're doing, but it didn't do much beyond that. So occasionally I would sort of go, "Oh, that's pretty nice little bit of colour there," and then I just sort of fall back into my, well, I'll be honest, sleep. I did fall asleep. We saw it separately, and there was nothing really to keep me awake. Didn't really grab me at all. I wasn't really excited for it at all going in anyway. I sort of thought, like, I like Matt Damon, it'll be fine, but I didn't even really see Matt Damon within there. And I know it's good normally if you can't see the actor, if you can sort of really get sucked in by the character, but it wasn't that. It's just because I was just so off-put by how weird a performance it is from Matt Damon, because it is just very
they
silly.
go on saying that he's been fighting under many flags and he's a rogue, you get it, like, but I just didn't get. I like them for individual things they did, but as total characters, I wasn't really behind it. And the main female character was sort of really, really disposable.
I thought the whole film is pretty disposable.
Yeah,
I forgot about it almost immediately.
It wasn't terrible for me, but no. I did enjoy it, but it was just something that you're not going to forget in in a
This is just a Jeremy Johns.
This is
film.
such this is turning to Jeremy Johns, isn't it? But yeah, it is what it is.
To recall what Robbie Collins said, we might as well bring him back into it as well. I'm sure he said it's like banging your head off a wall or something. So he gave it a 1 star, and that was the first one I saw. I thought, oh boy, here we go. But it wasn't. It wasn't a 1 star. It was kind of more.
I like the soundtrack.
Yeah, soundtrack was actually alright.
Was good.
Yeah, soundtrack's pretty good.
Yeah. What was Willem Dafoe doing? That's the one question.
Good question.
Yeah, he spent
the
most of the film running around looking confused.
And he got paid a lot of money.